You ever go to with the boys to Vegas for a weekend or Miami, and you invite like 4 people, but there's that one guy like, you know, I mean, he makes a good living. He's funny. You don't invite him. You're having a party, you and your girlfriend, you and your boyfriend, whatever, having a party, and you're setting people up, and you invite your friends, but there's this one couple. It's just not. Let's not invite them to the party. They're agitators, not lubricators. They could be attractive. They could have good jobs. Something about them rubs other people. I mean, they're with you all the time, but you just don't think they work quite at the wedding, in the Vegas weekend, at the party. That's often the interesting couple. Kyrie Irving's an interesting player, but when I watched Portland last night beat Brooklyn, forget about Portland for a second. The Brooklyn Nets have now shown you 3 different times, even though they lost. How was it that close? 7 of the top 8 players were for Portland, including the MVP of the bubble. 3 different times Brooklyn has won without Kyrie. They made the playoffs before he got there. Then pre-bubble, he got there. The record was better when he didn't play. And in the bubble, they were 5-3. How? How are they 5-3? How did they beat the Bucks? How did they beat the Clippers? How did they could have beaten Portland last night? Because there is a massive difference between a friend and a friend you can invite to big parties. There's a big difference between a great basketball talent, Damian and Kyrie are both that, and a winning basketball player who lubricates, not agitates the room. Dame Lillard this year, 6-game stretch, had to sit. They went 2-4. He missed 8 games this year for Portland. They went 2-6. Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, now in Oklahoma City, are not just great. They are winning basketball talent, not just great basketball talent. This is what I've said about Kyrie and Westbrook. This is what I've said about Houston's winning percentage went down this year with Westbrook. Oklahoma City last year with Westbrook was a 6 seed. This year without him, they're a 4 seed. It's not a talent thing. It's just like you can have friends, but the friend you're a little gun shy inviting to Vegas or the party with you and your girlfriend or the wedding, it doesn't mean you don't like them. It doesn't mean they're bad people, but they're agitators, not lubricators. And when you watch Damian Lillard last night, everybody can get involved as he's scoring 30, 40, 50. Others can get involved. This is the difference, and it drives me crazy when the basketball media fawns over Kyrie and Westbrook and gives them significantly more love than a guy like Dame Lillard. Not all basketball talent's equal. I've said this before. We watched the documentary on Michael Jordan. He could wear guys out. Now, he's the greatest basketball player of all time. But Magic Johnson and LeBron James, real lubricators of a basketball team. They kind of elevate everybody they play with. Michael didn't elevate everybody he played with. He's just the best basketball player of all time, probably, right? So last night was not just about Damian Lillard in Portland getting to the playoffs, which we thought they would do. But did you notice how hard it was? Because passing matters and spacing matters and chemistry matters. It was the 3rd time I've watched Brooklyn. I mean, Boston got better when Kyrie left. They got better. Boston was better before he got there. Duke was a number 1 seed Kyrie's final year in college when he played 8 games. And they were good the next year when he left. Cleveland got to a finals again when Kyrie left. Nobody's saying he can't make a shot. He's a great shot maker. But we spend so much time fawning over the wrong players. Basketball is about winning games. It's not just about style, though style matters. It's just not about culture, though culture matters in basketball. It's about winning. And when you got this guy over my shoulder who you're looking at, Damian Lillard, he should be getting far more press. So should Chris Paul than Westbrook and Kyrie. Because they're all great, but 2 of them are lubricators. 2 others are talented, but often agitators. And it does matter who you invite to the wedding. You know, generally with these players, it doesn't even really matter what you were doing for a living. If you were the greatest in the world at something, or the best in your sport, or the best in your profession, ideally you'd want 2 things. You'd want the money, the respect, the cash, and you'd want to win, right? Dame Lillard is happy with one of them. He's getting all the money. He's doing that. He's probably not going to win a bunch of titles. Mike Trout is getting a lot of money, but he plays in the second most popular team in Los Angeles. He doesn't have the relevance, and he's not going to win championships down in Anaheim. Giannis could very well be a guy like, hey, listen, I'm not going to be the most marketable guy, but I can win championships in Milwaukee. But he's not going to go 0 for 2 for the rest of his career. He's going to want, show me the guy that would take both. Was the best player in the league. It didn't want to at least win or get the money. So that's why winning is so important to Milwaukee. He's not the face of the league. He's not going to get the big shoe deal. There's 3 reasons why Giannis, by the way, the schedule's out for the playoffs. The league is telling you we're putting him at 1 o'clock. I mean, they're putting Kawhi Leonard, who doesn't talk, at 9. Well, that's the LA market. It's the Clippers. And by the way, the Sixers-Boston series, that's in prime time. And those teams aren't as good as Milwaukee. The bottom line here, it's not a coastal bias. It is Giannis is not a star that way. He's just a great player. And I do believe eventually he's going to want at least one of the 2 things that matter. The fame, the money, the respect that way, or the titles. He's not going to go 0 for 2 on that. And that's why I say, if Milwaukee can't get to the finals, watch out. You find me the player in NBA history. You know how many times I heard, Brady'd never leave here, and Montana'd never leave there, and LeBron loves Cleveland, and Kevin Durant God, if I have to hear that nonsense, they all leave. You gotta, now, Stockton and Malone didn't, but at the end, Malone went to the Lakers because he wanted to win a title. You know, Stockton had a different personality, and by the way, they were winning. They were getting to the finals. They were winning a ton of games, and John made a lot of money. But you got, I mean, if you look at this, the NBA has, it's not a Milwaukee issue because New Orleans, the NBA changed the schedule for Zion in New Orleans, for LeBron in Cleveland. And by the way, for KD and Westbrook in Oklahoma City, they changed the schedule. They made them in primetime. It's not a city issue. This is not against Milwaukee. I mean, would it help? They were in a bigger city like New York or LA? Absolutely. It's a Giannis issue. 7 years, no shoe deal of note, makes less than Zion for shoes. And so, there's 3 reasons. Number one, his game it's not entirely relatable. It's like he's got superhuman length. I mean, you don't see kids in the playground going, ooh, give me your Giannis move. You know, everybody's got a Harden. Everybody had a Kobe fall-away. Everybody's got the Steph Curry move. It's not real that way relatable. Second thing, he didn't come into the NBA with a lot of hype like a LeBron. I mean, D. Wade was in college basketball. We saw him. I think he was in like the Elite 8 at Marquette. You know, Kobe came in with hype. KD came in, Giannis didn't. He wasn't a top 5 pick. He was in Greece. He was a slow build to be great. The third thing is, it's unfair, but he is an international player. And for whatever reason, international players, we don't watch them in high school. We don't watch them in college. Many of them come over here. I mean, Luka's amazing. But I don't think Luka will ever be half as popular as Zion if Zion gives you 55 games a year and they both get to the playoffs. Whatever it is with that. It's just something. I don't know how insignificant it is, but it is something. But I do believe Giannis will want one of the 2 things. I'm just speaking as a guy. And maybe women, it's the journey more than the destination. But generally for guys who are great at their profession, you want one of the 2. Give me the money and the fame or give me the winning. You got to get one of them. And so it'd be very, very fascinating. The NBA schedule is, God, they got Milwaukee at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. That's the death zone. And by the way, it may not matter to Giannis to be famous and make a lot of money, but it matters to his agent. It matters to the league. Yeah, I mean, the league, Kobe embraced it, right? So the league put Kobe in primetime. Duncan didn't. Like, it matters. It will double your income. Does money matter? For not winning titles, I think it's something. And I know it matters to shoe companies. Shoe companies want players who get to the finals. They want it. So if you're telling me Giannis is different, you're telling me money doesn't matter, you're telling me none of it matters, winning championship, something's got to matter. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.